Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Storytime, the series where I tell you, generally speaking, funny stories and things that have happened throughout my life. Today isn't going to be as funny of a story, but it's probably one of the most influential things that have happened to me. And if you read the title and is like, how is Call of Duty that important to you? Well, I've been playing Call of Duty for over 10 years now and uploading Call of Duty videos for over 10 years now. And 3-ish years ago, it became my full-time job to do so and literally has changed my life in so many freaking ways. And I just kind of wanted to put together a video describing how Call of Duty became such a big part in my life, because it didn't happen all at once. It was kind of a slow burn thing that eventually worked its way to what it is now. And I wanted to put that all into one video. I've told parts of this story before. For example, me breaking my collarbone is a big part of this story, but I've never had it all in one video. And I'm not going to go over everything that I've gone over before. For example, I have a full story about how I broke my collarbone and all of that kind of stuff in a separate video. So if you want to check that out, I'll link it down in the description, but it is part of this story. So this begins back in grade 9 for me in 2008, going into 2009. It was a little bit before Christmas when I broke my collarbone. For those of you who haven't seen that episode of Storytime, basically I was snowboarding, fell, broke my collarbone, and 3 days later, it was Christmas. And for Christmas, my mom got me a new snowboard, new bindings, new boots, literally like everything for snowboarding. And because I just broke my collarbone, I wasn't going to be able to snowboard for the entire winter, which meant all of my Christmas presents were absolutely useless. But my mom, because she's fantastic, she goes, you know what, Corey, we're going to bring this stuff back tomorrow. We'll return it, and you can take whatever money we spent and you can put it towards whatever you want. And because I was essentially crippled at the time, my idea was I'm going to buy an Xbox 360 and Halo 3, because at the time, every single day after school, I would go over to my friend's house, we'd play Halo 3 together, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the ranking system, how you could rank up through these things and eventually become a top-tier player. At the time, I played a lot of SWAT, which was basically headshots only. I loved it. So I bought myself some Halo 3. I know the Xbox came with Kung Fu Panda, which I played because I only had 2 games at the time, and I loved it. Now, a couple of months later, I want to say around March-ish time, my friend's like, dude, you got to come over after school. I got this new game. It's called Call of Duty World at War. The multiplayer for it is absolutely amazing. You got to give it a shot. And went over to his place after school. We played a bunch of it, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get this game. The thing that I loved about it, and I've said this before about Call of Duty, it was like a mix between an MMO and a shooter game. And I loved shooter games, and I loved MMO, and I love RPGs. So the fact that you could level up, unlock better weapons, better attachments, better perks, I loved. And then on top of that, you could do the same thing with Halo, where the more you played, the better your aim got, and the better a player you could actually become. So a couple of weeks later, I was at the mall, and I begged my mom to get me Call of Duty World at War, because at the time I didn't have a job, I didn't make any money, and because of that I couldn't buy it. So the only way I could get it is to beg my mom or to save up my, I don't even think I had allowance at the time. I was broke. I didn't have any money, okay? My mom bought it for me. So my mom bought Call of Duty World at War for me. I came home, and that's pretty much all I did for the next couple of months was play that game, play that game, play that game. And I will always remember this to the day I die. One night, my parents went out with my grandma, and generally speaking, when they'd go out with my grandma, they'd get home around midnight, and this night, I was home alone, I was playing Call of Duty World at War, and my parents still weren't home at like 2 a.m. I'm like, are they out getting rowdy with grandma? Like, what is going on here? So it's like 2:30 a.m. and my mom gets home and she comes straight downstairs into the basement where I'm playing Call of Duty. I will always remember this. I was playing Domination on Roundhouse and my mom goes, turn off the Xbox. I'm like, what did I do? Like, I was here the whole night. Like, you're home late. Like, what? Why am I in trouble? She's like, just turn it off. I need to talk to you. So she sits down on the couch, and that's always a terrible feeling. When your parents sit down on the couch, you're like, either I did something wrong or something's wrong. They got in a car crash. Like, what happened here? She sits down and goes, listen, the reason why we're home late is your grandfather had a heart attack. And I lost it because I've told you guys before, my grandpa, it was basically like my dad growing up. And I'm really, really close with him. To this day, I'm really close with him. So obviously, he was okay after the heart attack. But at the time, I'm like, holy shit, he's not going to be okay. Now, you may be wondering what this has to do with Call of Duty. Forever, when I play Roundhouse in Call of Duty World at War, I think of that memory. I think of my mom coming and telling me to turn off the Xbox. Anyway, this isn't a part of the story. We end up going to the hospital. My grandpa's okay. He gets a stent put in. He's all good. But whenever I play World at War and whenever that map comes up, that is the first thing I think about. And it's so weird how your brain can relate one thing to the other. Anyway, time goes on, a couple of months go by, and it's June, which is the end of high school in Ontario for everyone. And at June, last day of school, exams are done. I see my friend and I'm like, dude, I want to go get Call of Duty 4. I've heard all these great things about it. I've never played the multiplayer for it. Let's go to Best Buy. Let's buy Call of Duty 4 and go home tonight and play it all night. He's like, dude, I'm down. So we bike like 5 miles to the closest Best Buy. It is not close whatsoever. We bike there. We buy Call of Duty 4. We go back home. And I think he slept over that night. We played Call of Duty all night long. And just like Call of Duty World at War, fell in love. Started playing it every single day, trying to get better. And the thing was, at that time, I was not good at Call of Duty. I would say in both games, Call of Duty World at War and Call of Duty 4, my kill death was probably like 0.6 to 0.65. And basically, my goal was, on both games, to get that kill death up to 1.0. And I did that on Call of Duty 4 relatively quickly, because I got it later and I was better at it by the time I got it. But World at War was still a grind to get that up to 1.0. Now, this is where things started to get a little bit more serious for me. At the time, hockey, sports were still the thing that my main focus was on. But that is when I hit grade 10 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was announced. Modern Warfare 2 was amazing, and it looked so good before it came out. But as I mentioned, I didn't have a job, which meant I had no money, which meant I could not buy it at launch. So what I decided to do was ask for it for Christmas. I was going to be the Christmas noob of Modern Warfare 2, and all my friends got the game. All my friends were playing it from launch date, and I was like, don't worry, wait until Christmas, then I'll play it. So I end up getting Modern Warfare 2 for Christmas from my grandparents. They're amazing. I open it, I go home and play it that night, and I'm like, oh my god, this game is so good. The UMP45, the SPAS, having so much fun playing that game. But I was still playing a lot of sports at the time. So 3 days later, after Christmas, I have a hockey tournament in another city. It was like an hour away from where I lived. So we go to the hockey tournament, and in the very first game of the hockey tournament, I'm skating into the corner. Somebody trips me, and I go wrist first into the corner, and I break my freaking wrist. This was a year almost to the day after I broke my collarbone. I broke my wrist. So I go to the hospital, they put a cast on. Honestly, it wasn't very painful. I can make a whole separate video about that because it is kind of a funny story. But I break my wrist, and I get home maybe a week later. No, it wasn't a week later. Like 3 days later, after the hockey tournament is over, and I go to play Modern Warfare 2. And because I have this giant cast on, I can't play. The controller doesn't fit in my hand. And I'm pissed. This means I'm not going to be able to play for like 6 to 8 weeks until I get my cast off. This sucks. So what ends up happening is every 2 weeks you get a new cast put on. The first one is just like your plaster cast. After that, they go to the fiberglass one. So after the second week, they put a fiberglass cast on. And I'm like, maybe this thing's smaller. Maybe I can hold the controller. And it was close. But I couldn't quite reach the thumbstick without it being painful. So I'm like, give it another 2 weeks. But after 1 week, I'm like, dude, I need to play. I'm getting the crack itch. I need to play some Modern Warfare 2. So what I did is I took my cast, took a nail file, and started filing down the hand of my cast. My mom comes home from work and is like, Corey, what are you doing? You cannot do that. You're going to break your wrist again. I'm like, I'll be fine. So I file it down, and the controller fits in my hand. And I remember playing so much Modern Warfare 2 with that cast on, barely being able to reach that thumbstick. And by the time I was done playing, my wrist would be so freaking sore. But it was okay because I was playing Modern Warfare 2. And eventually I get my cast off, and I actually start to get good at the game. Being able to get kill streaks every single game, get chopper gunners. And eventually I start to be able to get nukes. This is where the addiction set in. As soon as I was able to start getting nukes, I was like, I need more nukes. I need to get all the nukes. I need to nuke every single game. And that is when I started making YouTube videos. A lot of you may not know this, but I have old Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 videos up on my channel talking about the game. and I was not popular. I think I had like 100 subscribers for the longest time, but I just kept making videos, and eventually it wasn't until like, I don't even know, Advanced Warfare that my channel started to get any traction whatsoever. But I just kept making Call of Duty videos because I absolutely love the game. And ever since Modern Warfare 2, it's been such a big part of my life. Every year I look forward to the reveal of the new Call of Duty game. I wonder what they're going to change, what's going to get better, what's going to get worse. And for me, the gold standard for Call of Duty is always going to be Modern Warfare 2. Yes, the game was so damn broken. One-man army noob tubes, commando knives, like literally almost everything about that game was broken, but holy crap was it fun. To me, there's never been a game that's come close to being that much fun. Yes, there's been better balanced and better Call of Duty games like Black Ops 2, but it just wasn't as fun as me as Modern Warfare 2. I don't know if there will ever be a Call of Duty game that's fun to me, but that's my opinion. That's how I got addicted to Call of Duty, and that's how I became who I am today on YouTube. So hopefully you guys found this enjoyable. It's a bit different than my normal story, not quite as funny, but like I said, it involved 2 broken bones. It involved me getting real addicted to a video game, probably in an unhealthy way, and that is where we are today. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And until next time, guys, peace out.
We are